Hi everyone and welcome to my re-review of Terrence Malick's The New World in 2005. So yes, back once again a year later here with the extended cut Blu-ray here. Yeah, not a great kind of cover here of the Blu-ray, but The New World 2005, of course. Colin Farrell, and yes, this film is the fourth Malick, and yeah, another re-review. It's kind of different, of course, for my channel. I don't really usually do this, but I will be doing it more often, of course. For the films, that if I change my mind about them, or just ones that I am not pleased, that was one of the ideas with this. I wasn't pleased with some of my earlier reviews, to be honest, and this one will certainly be replacing that. But yes. I wanted to just re-review this regardless of what I thought on this revisit, and yeah, it's been roughly an hour, not even that, since I kind of finished watching this film, and yes, last year, of course, I reviewed it, and I liked it, as we know, if you've seen the review, I liked it. I didn't love the film, but I did love aspects of the film, and it was an interesting film, of course. All Malick films mostly are, and I think. I was kind of thinking though, after I said, kind of watched the film, I thought, yeah, I like it, but I was thinking, why did I not love this film? It's a shame, I think, because the other four films of the first five Malicks, including the Tree of Life, of course, I do absolutely adore, and especially, of course, Days of Heaven, which is in my top 20 of all time, but all these films are just mind blowing, of course, as we know, in their own ways, and. Yeah, this was the one that was an odd one out. While I did like it, I didn't adore the film, but I thought, there's stuff in it, the visuals, the music, and stuff that I did fall in love with. And the last hour of the film, I really thought was just something actually really impressive there, and felt. This time around, of course, I thought it doesn't matter if I don't love the film on the revisit. But I thought, who knows, I might like it a lot more and respond to things differently. Kind of things I didn't really know how to react to the first time around, didn't know how to feel about them, and overall I admittedly was not fully invested in the love story until the other one where Christian Bale comes into the film as John Rolfe, and yeah, John, this is something that Colin Farrell, of course, the big star of the film, you would say, but he's not. It's two separate kind of love stories, of course, and yes, it is a film, that is very divisive, as we know, and yes, I thought, let's just watch it. We'll just watch it, and from the opening, I was definitely feeling very differently about this film, and to sum it up, wow, what a turnaround! Truly something. This film, regardless of what I thought before, of that initial just merely liking a film, now I can safely say. I love the film, and actually, it's a stunner. It really is a wonderful piece of cinema, in my opinion. And I'm so pleased to say that I do adore this film now, and I don't think it's as good as them other four, of the first five, which I never thought I would change my mind on that. But I do count all of them as now great films. These first five Malicks, and by far, better than the latest three. I'm not including Voyage of Time or anything, but yes, this film is actually really beautiful. I do love it. I think there was just a couple of instances where I have some issues with the film, but really, this is just something to cherish. And I kind of it's a bit annoying that I didn't love it the first time around, but just the way it is, of course. No explanation needed there. Just when you rewatch films, sometimes you feel differently about them. It rarely happens. Kind of there is a couple of instances. The Grand Budapest Hotel, actually, I liked, but I didn't, love. And then when I rewatched it once, I did. So this is kind of like that. But them occasions are actually, certainly in the last few years, very, small occasions, very few times that actually happened. But it does, I'm not going to say it never happens. It does. And this is a case of that, I think actually now I do love this film, and just, it's a stunning film, and just, really something else. This is just a beautiful piece of cinema, and yes, from the opening scene, I was just in awe of the picture. Actually, really responded to it in a wonderful way. It's just beautiful. It really is, and yeah, I didn't find it frustrating or anything. I just kind of responded to it spiritually, and everything that was going on, the arrival of the ships, used, of course, Malick uses here Wagner music, and it's just the effect that it has is just something awe-inspiring and truly natural beauty here that you feel, and just the senses here are overwhelmed, I feel, and really it's something else. Once again, dealing with man, kind of disturbing nature, Western culture coming in there, the kind of exploitation as well, and stuff that this plays into. It's set in the 1600s, of course. It's his, vision, his kind of take on Pocahontas, although very, very different from what anyone else would ever do. As we know, it's Malick, but it's just so unique. And yes, you have this wonderful music, and the James Horner score is used at times, but it's combined with kind of classical music. Mozart's Concerto number 23, which is used for the love theme mainly. It's just absolutely beautiful, and I just, for the first half an hour I was just like, wow, I'm really changing my mind on this. It's a completely different experience, and just a completely different mindset that I was in, to allow myself to kind of be moved a lot more, and I connected to it on every level really. I think there is a couple of instances in the editing mainly, just in the first hour, which is slightly flawed for me, and maybe a tad, a couple of instances where it's slightly flat, for it allowed to be a full marks film, and I don't quite overall think it's a masterpiece. I can't quite say that, but it's really not far off, actually. And if it wasn't for the second, act, which involves a stunning battle sequence, even better than I remembered. But you've got characters like Eddie Marson, and the one that he plays, Eddie, I think it was credited as, and just a couple of bits there that just slightly detract from this overall experience and the beauty of the film. And I do still feel that scene, when he's at the camera and stuff, I didn't take to that, I didn't care for that. But it's Malick tries so many different things in this film that it's hard to kind of fully be, saying that it didn't work and stuff. It didn't work for me, but and it's just a thing that I have to, say that took away a bit. There's a couple of slight moments here and there, in that kind of middle of the film, the real middle of the film, where it was just wasn't quite on the level of the rest of the film, and would cause me to deduct a couple of marks there, and it does taint it slightly, but otherwise than that, it's mainly just a couple of moments, here and there, in some moments of the film where the editing is just slightly flawed, and it does detract from the overall, slightly from the potential, the beauty of the film and the flow of it, I think, but when I say that, it detracts it from being masterful, because it really is. In every other case, mostly, absolutely stunning. It really is a sublime film, and yes, emotional, truly emotional. Actually, I just broke down at times with this film. It's actually truly emotional for me this time round, and I just connected to this love story that couldn't quite happen. Of course, this is a spoilers review this time round. I don't know what I gave, what I done last time, if it was a spoilers or not. Probably not. But yes, that review did not. I didn't think too much of the review that I done there. But this one, I think there will be spoilers. And yes, Captain, John Smith is played by Colin Farrell, and Colin Farrell is an actor who, on all perspective, all kind of things considered, I've only seen him in Alexander, which, I'm sure wasn't his fault, but that was an awful film in my opinion. I really think that's one of my least favourite films ever made. Oliver Stone, of course, which his film's filmography is very up and down, I feel, but definitely at times a great director, but other times no, not so much for me personally. For respect, that film I didn't like. Fantastic Beasts I didn't like at all. Surprisingly, I love Harry Potter, but yes, that's really the only stuff I'd seen him in. And The New World, it is a film I saw for the first time last year, and I thought it was good in the film, but this time I think he was great in the film. I really do, actually. And I think I kind of thought last time the romance was a bit kind of forced, actually, being honest, but really now I just took to it so much, and it's such a beautiful way it's portrayed, and the use of music throughout the film, is truly emotional, and heartfelt, and I think just alone, you know, visuals combining with the music, the way Malick does this, the way he uses the specific points, you know, of the music within the different, you know, kind of moments in the film, and within the, you know, especially within the kind of blossoming of the romance, the first one is really quite perfect actually, and you know, it's just a very, very different romance, a one that you really, really feel. Not everyone will connect to it. You know, some people hate this romance, but I really, really love this romance. I think it's just beautiful, of course, beautiful love story that is never, you know, cheaply done at all, and it's just, it's so wonderful. It really is, so poetic, and you know, just beautiful. The way, you know, it kind of is very, very just, you know, the senses here, you know, the way that is involved, you know, and of course, you know, they kind of interact. This whole interaction actually is truly stunning, and the tribe this time around, I really liked the whole kind of thing here going on. You know, I can understand how I did feel a bit kind of unsure from my first view about how some of the people acted in the film, but you know, I do actually really think, first of all, you know, I did actually connect to these characters a lot more this time around. But you know, secondly, actually, I found a little bit of intentional comedy, you know, playfulness here by Malick, actually, and this time round, it didn't annoy me at all. It was really wonderful, and just kind of really so enjoyable. Actually, I found myself just loving the interaction, you know, between them all, and there was such a charm to it, actually, you know, and just childlike innocence. I feel there's something, yeah, maybe I didn't pick up on at all. First, I completely misjudged a lot of the film, maybe, but really, really so enjoyable, actually. And yes, a couple of funny cuts here and there, you know, with you know, the father is, you know, kind of getting his hair combed and stuff. But you know, it does not detract at all this time around. I buy into the tone a lot more. I think this is just wonderful. It really is a delight to see. You know, it's just an all new experience, the new world. You know, it's something that, you know, actually, it's just it's something else, and yeah, you know, just the way this, you know, the interactions unfold. She's very hesitant at first. You know, our main, you know, Pocahontas, of course, Kilcher. You know, she kind of yeah, she the way she kind of at first is very hesitant and everything. It's actually very authentic, and then, you know, when she does grow to kind of you know, to care for this this character of John Smith, that's when, you know, the film really comes into its own, and I think by the end of the first hour I was just really so invested. I had found so much joy in the film. You know, it's truly spiritual, actually, and the interaction with nature, you know, I think man's love for nature, and the way that the man as well in the film can disrupt this, and the cycle of nature is once again portrayed here, just like it is in the film Red Lion, and you know, all his works really in some way. But you know, this is truly something else. The cinematography to this, you know, is absolutely brilliant, and I say that, you know, this is some of the very, very best cinematography of the century. It's absolutely stunning. I was in awe of this beautiful film. This really, it looks like a painting at times. It's just wonderful. The whole production is stunning across the film, across the board. Absolutely wonderful. So pleasing this to the eye, and just even better than I remember the cinematography. Just everything, you know, it's so kind of flowing as well, very natural. The editing is so unique here, but you know, it doesn't always work perfectly. It could have been a bit less kind of cutty, you could say, at times, and it would have even enhanced the picture further in terms of the way the camera flows. But I think for what Malick was going for here, he really achieved something unique, and yes, just truly wonderful visuals. It's just stunning, and the way the characters, you know, are just kind of filmed amongst, you know, the grass blades and everything. You know, around you know, the trees as well. It's just it's wonderful. A true connection to the nature in the film, and you know, of course, just, you know, the production, as I say, is stunning. The costumes, wow, you know, they're really wonderful here, and you know, it's just absolutely stunning in direction at times here. I found myself so much more as well invested in the actual narrative, the characters, you know, especially, you know, when it began with Christopher Plummer and everything, and the overall mission, but the way the film kind of you know, actually I see intentionally now kind of veers off from this, and it becomes more of just finding oneself experience for you know, quite a lot of the characters involved here. You know, Colin Farrell's character of John Smith, and you know, our character of Pocahontas. You know, it's kind of it veers off deliberately, I think, actually, and you know, because I found last time it was slightly unfocused. You know, but actually maybe that is completely wrong way of looking at it, actually, in this film, and it is kind of just it just goes off, and it is just more an experience, and then, you know, kind of the last third of the film is something again completely different, but kind of brings everything together, and you've got two different love stories. You know, it's kind of love triangle, but not a traditional one, and not something, you know, like Days of Heaven or anything like that. It's very, very different to that love triangle kind of thing. But yes, you know, you've just got this wonderful feeling to the film, and I was just completely having a wonderful experience with this. Brought to tears on many occasions, and yes, you've also got a wonderful, thrilling battle sequence in the middle of the film, where the Thin Red Line was a kind of overwhelming, you know, kind of, you know, war film in its action and everything. This is of course traditional. It's with, you know, clubs and everything, and it's just, you know, in many regards, stunning as well. You know, kind of thing. Not quite on the level or anything that's Thin Red Line for me, but it's really, really stunning actually, and even better than I remembered. How visceral this is, and Lebeski, of course, you know, working with Malick once again here, and you know, he works on the Tree of Life and stuff. But this is really stunning. The way they capture, you know, the battle sequence, and the way it's been edited actually. It's really, really stunning. It's just so visceral, as I say, you know, getting close up there, kind of thing, and it's just, you feel every hit. You know, it's just I was just kind of shocked, and it's also just poetic feel that it has as well, just like the Thin Red Line, and just really, really stunning. And you know, when everyone's climbing up, you know, onto the fort, you know, wow, you know, it's so stunning, so kind of awe-inspiring, and yes, then it kind of dials down a little bit, the film, and there's a couple of moments, as I say, you know, with the Eddie Marsan character who just you know, is insane in the film. I don't know why that was in the film, really, personally, and it doesn't work for me personally. You know, I think it's just too much. It's just, you know, the way he's shouting at the camera and everything, kind of thing, and the expressions and everything. It's too much. It breaks the tone of otherwise what, you know, is kind of even the second, you know, the middle of the film is overall very beautiful stuff, and just a couple of moments with some of the characters, as I say there, it just doesn't quite, you know, work as well as it should have done, I feel. Just overall contributing to slightly, you know, slight instances of you know, flat nature, just, yeah, not quite as compelling, you know, as it could have been. But other than that, as I say, slight flaws throughout the rest of the film. It really is stunning, and you know, I'm so glad I rewatched it. You know, it's just a beautiful film in every regard. It truly is, and I just, you know, I was so caught up in this epic film, and you know, it's kind of, Colin Farrell, of course, goes out of the film, as we know, for quite a bit, and then you have Christian Bale, who is just one of my favourite actors, and he comes into the picture around, you know, just around the 2 hour mark, really, and you know, he kind of you know, falls in love, of course, with our protagonist, and yes, you know, it just once again, I was just moved to the core by this. This is very, very, you know, subtle hints at, you know, kind of what the Tree of Life, you know, of course, is. It's kind of instances here, you know, for around 20 minutes of this kind of family life, in a way that's, you could compare it at times to the Tree of Life, but yes, you know, it's just beautiful to see, you know, the birth of the child, you know, it's just all these moments, and, you know, in the fields, that are just felt so wonderfully. The way it's portrayed is so human, that's the thing, and Christian Bale gives a stunning performance, really does. He doesn't need to do much, but you know, it's because it's such a presence, you feel, such a humanity that he brings to the performance. So commendable here, and yeah, just it makes me very emotional, this whole segment as well. You know, more than at times more than the rest of the film. You know, this the stuff that I liked the most last time that I watched it, and once again, just absolutely stunning. It really is. It's just moved me so much actually, and the performances, you know, all round mostly are great, but Kilcher in particular, there's something really wonderful about, you know, her performance, the way what she brings to the character. I think it's truly wonderful, lovely performance here. You know, it's just so pure and spiritual, and you know, brings so much energy to the character, to the film, when she's just, you know, the way it's captured as well, when she's kind of at the beginning interacting with Colin Farrell's character, you know, John Smith. It's really wonderful. I really loved the performances, especially by Kilcher. It's really stand out, and I got so invested in her character throughout the film. But you know, she brings so much humanity and you know, just a wonderful feel to the performance throughout the film. It's just something truly to praise so much, and just so impressive. You know, all round the acting, but Kilcher in particular is really wonderful in this film, and yes, just a beautiful but, you know, tragic you know, film in the end, and just, you know, the kind of the way that you know, these love stories pan out, you know, is beautiful to you know, to kind of watch and let it unfold, but again, very tragic at times as well. I found a lot of sadness to the film, and it's just wonderful. And then you've got the kind of some of the other characters from the tribe, you know, the uncle, for example, you know, returning at the end of the film, and it just makes you look back, contemplate some of the early parts, and you know, it's just the whole film is a wonderful experience. It has some slight flaws, but really there's nothing to focus on too much, to dwell on, because it's not a masterpiece for me, not quite, but it is a great film that I truly love. Yeah, just a completely new experience that I had with the film, and you know, I do think that the first 5 Malicks, you know, this is some you know, streak of films, you know, and of course the pattern here that you wait quite a lot of years for these ones, whereas his second phase, you know, some people say there's 3 phases, but really it's the main 2 phases are, you know, separated by the Tree of Life. Of course, after that you have you know, To the Wonder and everything, Knight of Cups, Song to Song, and you know, these ones, they're in more quick succession, you know, and they don't feel, obviously they are very experimental, and you know, it's hard to really comment on them. Maybe I'll revisit them and see what's going on there really at times. But Song to Song I liked, but yeah, but this film and these first 5 overall, just they are big events. You know, they're something to really look forward to, and something, you know, where if you compare them as well, which I don't really like to do with the latest 3, you know, they are just, you know, they are films, you know, big films. You know, this is film, this is cinema. They feel like, you know, kind of just events, as I say, and you know, you get the feeling that so much has been put into these, and it's something that, you know, you feel like it's a special event to see these films. And certainly, you know, I'd prefer this if it was, you know, just more of a gap in between these films, and you know, they were just, you know, something that, you know, completely mind blowing at times. You know, certainly with the other 4 and this one as well. You know, there's something that, you know, they're truly grand. They're very different from each other, although they have similarities mostly. Maybe not Badlands too much with the other ones, or even Days of Heaven, but you know, they do have similarities in the narration and everything, and the visual storytelling. And I just think the visual storytelling in this film, while not quite perfect, is absolutely mind blowing, and I just absolutely love this film. The way it's shot, it's beautiful, poetic. You know, I think the clash of, you know, the Western culture and everything coming into these you know, the natives of the land, and just you know, how they, you know, the natives respect nature and everything, and then you've got these people coming in, and you know, there's battles taking place as well. That represents just how, you know, how this is upsetting, you know, their kind of land and everything, and at the centre of this as well, you've got love stories going on. You've got just beautiful ways which you see communication, interaction, human interaction, and I just love how Malick really, and it's not for everyone of course, but the way he shows, you know, just the characters lying around kind of thing, it's just so spiritual and peaceful. You know, it's contemplative. It doesn't have to be, you know, full on dramatic. It's a very, you know, kind of it is just mainly beautiful and pure in the way it's done. It's not something like Gone with the Wind, where there's traditional classic drama in there, as well as being a love story. It is just kind of pure kind of spiritual love story here, and maybe more drama in the Christian Bale stuff going on later on in the film. But yes, it's something that it's just truly wonderful to see that first hour, and then you've got the explosive middle, which is really the only parts that flawed for me. But then the final third, once again, just exceeding the rest of the film. Really, just truly wonderful, and the emotions that I felt, and the way that I smiled at many moments throughout this. Especially when you see the birth of a child, and you just see this wonderful family. These moments here, although very short-lived in the grand scheme of things, wonderfully done, truly beautiful. And once again, Malick bringing his kind of human touches here that most other filmmakers have do not compare to in this way. Especially the way that Malick shows family life, the way he shoots love stories, of course, the way you feel them so much, and it's just as well the way that I loved just the whole kind of recreation of the time and everything. Although it's a very different kind of recreation of the time in many regards, as we know it's still it's something that I can escape into, and just find so much comfort in this film. Certainly such a relaxing. I appreciate so much how relaxing the film is, how peaceful it is, and just lovely. That's what you can say. While it does have some tragic moments, and kind of violence in the film, it's really so pure. And as well, I love the kind of you could say it's like an epilogue kind of thing, a coda. The final bits where they go to London. I love that kind of ceremony there as well, and just the architecture, the way it's captured, truly stunning. Hints as well for the Tree of Life, and some of his latest ones, but the way he captures architecture actually in the film is very similar at times, and just overall a complete epic film. Love stories here, and just you've got communication, you've got clash of cultures, you've got the coexisting as well, and man versus nature as well. You've got all these themes wrapped up in the film, and you've got just some characters that I kind of just found joy in seeing them interact, and while they're not all of the characters aren't given traditional exposition, it's more about just the way you feel the glances, perhaps the touches in the film, the gestures. It's all about this, and the way that the music tells the story combined with the visuals. It's not very different. This one, it may be the most kind of it's hard to say what this is, but it's very. I can see how it's kind of problematic for some. I did find it quite difficult to kind of connect to in many regards on my first viewing, and I didn't feel this with the other ones really, the first five, but this one I did, and I can see why it's very different, and probably the most risky for sure out of these first five, but I think if you give it a go, and if you find stuff in it, and you're kind of thinking, I want to maybe revisit this, then definitely go for it. And the extended cut, I can say, is a wonderful way to watch the film. I've not seen the theatrical yet, but I understand many people say that this one's better, and I think it really benefits from the length of this. You feel this journey more from what I imagined the shorter version would be, and I just love this film. A truly stunning work once again from Terrence Malick. But overall, of course, I absolutely adore the film. And I'd have to give it a very high score of a 96%. This absolutely blew me away. It really did, and it definitely makes this onto my favourite films list. Which I certainly couldn't say the first time I saw it. So it's a completely different experience I had with the film. I connected to pretty much all the film, and I really love this one. And I think a lot of people don't find too much to like about the film. I did respond to it at first, but wow, this one, this watch truly solidified this film as a great one for me. And Malick has just even further, risen in my estimations. Already one of my top 15 directors, filmmakers of all time, and because he's not, not every film I love from him personally. I don't fully connect to all of them, but the ones that I do, especially the top three from Malick, which is Badlands, Days of Heaven, Tree of Life, and not in order there that I'm saying, but them three, especially are the ones that I, truly adore and love with all my heart. But the Thin Red Line as well, absolutely adore the film, and because of how high these ones are on my list, despite only being five now, of course, on my list, he is one of my top 15 directors, because just what these films mean to me. And this one, while not quite on the level for me personally, it is a stunning film. It really is. The way this film is shot, the editing is great mostly. Just slightly flawed at times, mainly in the middle of the film. A couple of moments could have been taken out of this, and as well, just a couple of flat moments, just slightly flat moments here and there in the first hour and the second hour. The last hour of the film is really quite flawless for me. I think it's just beautiful, portrayal of this Pocahontas story. It's nothing like, as I say, any other interpretation would ever be, because this is Terrence Malick we're talking about, but I do appreciate that. I think it's just a unique film, and what Malick does with the senses here, it's truly genius. It really is at times. The way he just opens the film and ends the film with this just overwhelming, it's like the heavens have opened kind of thing, and it's just awe-inspiring, and all these quiet moments in the film where just characters are just feeling the environment, and I can completely understand how people won't respond to this and they find it heavy-handed, but this watch of the film, I truly just opened up to the film and found wonderful things in it. I truly did. Truly recommend this one, but I have to say, it may require, at least a couple of viewings to really fully appreciate, maybe, but not in a, kind of, I'm not saying that in a kind of offensive way or anything. If you don't like the film, that's fine, but definitely, as from what I've kind of experienced, I liked it the first time around, but this time I really loved it. So it's definitely a film that maybe, as I say, a bit challenging at first, but yes, it really is a wonderful film, and I say that with just complete kind of confidence there. This is a stunning work, truly flawed by this at times actually, and it's beautiful, poetic, tragic at times, so investing, just lulls you into a state, and the way the music is used, the combination of some of the James Horner score, which is just beautiful, really beautiful, and all the Wagner music as well, the way it ends and begins with the music here, and just the Mozart music, all these pieces are just really truly wonderful, and the visuals to the film is definitely some of the very best cinematography of the century. It's absolutely wowing, and that really goes a long way, because this is all about the visuals, and the way the music is used, and the way you feel the emotions, the glances from the characters, the way that this plays throughout the film, and the way that they relate to nature in the film, the conflict, of course, being definitely there, but it's really it's mainly the kind of the use of visuals in quiet moments, and because there is battles in the film, but it's really the emphasis on just this serene experience, just wonderful spiritual film that I truly love, and not everyone will love it, but I personally feel that it is a great film, and I really, it is divisive, certainly, and I'm sure most people can understand how this one in particular is very divisive. Some people call it indulgent. Maybe it slightly is at times, but the actual beauty to the film, and the way it is truly wonderful. So much in this experience. It doesn't matter too much for me. Certainly, this is how I feel about the film now. And yes, slightly flawed, but truly great, and wonderful human film. Beautiful, fantastical at times. I am just in awe of this film. Really, at times it's just wonderful. I love it, and yes, beautiful piece of cinema by Malick. wonderful love stories going on here, tragic about communication, interaction, the way of nature once again, conflicting with man, and the clash of ideals, and as well just a lovely kind of way to show communication, interaction, and the foundation, of course, of Jamestown. It's truly wonderful film, and of course I highly recommend it. It'd be great to see some thoughts on Malick in the comments. I will be removing my other New World review. That was just not good for me, that review that I done. One of my first ones, of course. But yes, this one I think I'm pleased with my thoughts on the film now. 96%. I do not give that lightly, because I think it really deserved the score for the way it made me feel, and overall the experience just truly profound. So yes, thanks for watching my review.